Hi, my name is Jillian, and today I'm going to be talking about my plan to promote peace and maintain it in the year 2073. There are numerous values that need to be addressed and upheld in order to ensure peace and freedom, some of these including the lack of discrimination, gender-based, racially based, ethnically based, and a difference in where our taxes are going. I think that they need to be going more to universal healthcare, universal daycare, universal higher education opportunities, so everyone has equal opportunity, not just those who were born into a wealthier family. For starters, a free and representative democracy is necessary where the general population has the ability to vote and directly elect their leaders via majority and free and fair election, where nobody will be denied the right to vote based off of biased claims about race, gender, income, or social class. Also, a free market economy is necessary to uphold the society where prices are subject to the laws of supply and demand rather than affected by government interventions. People will be free to participate in the economy and buy and sell as much of a product as they choose to do so, free of regulation by higher institutions. In addition to economic institutions, government processes such as the justice system are reformed to exclude prejudices and systemic gender and racially motivated discriminations. To ensure that members of forces such as the police and members of the law such as Supreme Court justices uphold these equal values, I think that justices in general should be elected more directly by the people rather than simply their superiors, such as the executive branch in the United States and generals of the police force. All right. The Al-Adamai and Lazar reading touches on this idea, explaining how military-developed counterinsurgency tactics have been used by U.S. police departments to target internal groups when they are chosen by biased institutions. This article explains how when the most powerful people have the ability to manipulate the process and target individuals unfairly, total peace and freedom will not be possible, and each targeted individual comes under disadvantage. In my society, weapons and physical violence would be banned, and nuclear weapons would be illegal and all be destroyed. Without incentive to continue growing one stock of weapons in their military, not one any country can be more powerful than another physically. Differences in interstate problems would be solved by resolution meetings rather than by physical war, either with ambassadors of the nations alongside the UN or between the heads of government with oversight by the UN or World Trade Organization or World Bank, whichever process seems to fit the problem better. States and nations will still exist, yet there will be no restricted access in or out of any state. Countries such as North Korea will lose their dictative powers when physical violence and weapons are not in the question, and leaders such as Kim Jong-un will struggle to retain full autonomy of the border with the lack of physical force. Ferguson explains in his Why We Fight article how war is an evolved propensity to eliminate any potential competitors. So without some of this competition in weaponry and who can be the biggest and baddest state violently, interstate conflict is bound to dissipate. He also explains how armed conflict has only emerged over the recent millennia, as changing social conditions provided the motivation and organizations to collectively kill. Without some of these conditions and social incentives, peace will be more likely and threats to safety and to states in general will decline. In 2023, the first step necessary to promoting the peaceful society will be the disintegration of the racist systems that have been systematically employed in our society and the prejudices that have been created. By doing this, we will ensure that we are eliminating one of the biggest anti-peace problems we face, gender and ethnicity-based cleanses and discriminations. In the Middle East, women are often shunned and given directions to keep them away from the public and at a lower level than those of men. In the United States, racism is still a huge problem and embedded in lots of our institutions, and gender gaps still exist in the workplace and in societal norms. Without these discriminations, the world will be relatively equal, and those who want the opportunity to succeed and do what they please will have the ability to do so. Also, I would get rid of systems that endorse wealthy candidates specifically for office and high holdings in government. This would include campaign limits much lower than they currently are, the mobilization of voters from all categories and candidates from all categories to run and vote regardless of economic or social standing, and the power to see expenditures of candidates running. My question to you all now is based on my last observation about campaign funding. I'm intrigued to know whether you all think that the disintegration of big spending campaigns would lead to a more or less peaceful society. Do you think those who have familial wealth and despotic wealth are more likely to be elected? And do you think this is fair? Thank you guys for listening.